Hey, what's up? Thanks for checking out the video. I appreciate it. God bless you. Thank you so much. Hey, so tonight I want to talk about something God brought to my attention. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a lot of talk about these like really progressive AI Jesuses being out. Jesus? Jesus? So, artificial intelligence, Jesus, and different formats from them or different programmings from them going about. And it seems like it'd be like a really cool thing. The opportunity to sit down with some version of how you picture Jesus or one that resonates with you and have a conversation with what appears to be a real person. It seems like it'd be awesome, but look, I need to expressly warn against it. For one, I mean, Jesus showed me the sign that it's identity theft. I know that seems extreme, but that's the way he was able to get the idea over to me. Like, hey, they're taking my identity and they're trying to put it on falsely through like something that's programmed by a man. And Jesus is the man. He's not programmed by a man. Uh, there's just some really crucial things like you can talk with the real OG, Jesus himself, God in the flesh. You can do it. And I know for some people, or even for myself when I was younger, it's there's a measure of faith you need to apply to speaking out loud to Jesus. There's a measure of like overcoming a hurdle or an obstacle in yourself that's tied to our belief or understanding and trusting in God for it all. But excuse me. But it's incredibly important that you do so. Like don't waste your time talking to artificial Jesus. Speak to the real one. Express yourself. He listens. He's there with you. He listens all the time. And not only does he just listen, he responds as well. And that's something you'll get to later on in faith. That's something, if you have questions about, feel free to ask me because I have plenty of answers to give. The ones that I give are developed not only in just a change in my life, the response that the world had to me when I made big changes in myself, but on top of that, to when God removed the scales from my eyes and started showing me big signs, like a huge current conversation that he constantly has, that you don't have to wonder or be afraid of God's listening because he not only listens, he responds and he goes to work. He sends angels out for these things that you ask. Man, and just the greatest and largest thing, the most miraculous thing in the world, God himself responds to just even your smallest inquiries. So just consider that. There's also to think about, and I'm going to mix a couple things together here. If you haven't seen any of my videos yet, I'm fully engaged and able to see demonic attack, spiritual influence from the enemy. I'm getting pretty darn good at discerning between like a real sign from the Lord and one that Satan has dressed up to look very much. It's like it's like two small guys in a coat trying to dress up in their father's closet. Sometimes Satan dresses his stuff up very miraculous. It looks really good, and it can be very hard to discern. But I've been given some sort of some insight in what God has led me through, so I'm able to see these things. With that being said, one of the troubles with AI Jesus is that he's going to be extremely convincing, right? And it's not just having a conversation with whatever, it's using the platform of the trustworthiness of Jesus. So it already like instinctually has this space in our hearts and in our minds of like a deeper responsibility or respect to the response that he'll give. The reason that that's a problem is because he's not giving the true response from Jesus himself. And then how that ties in also to what I just brought up about demonic attack is that um, in here, I'll bring this up right now. This will be an editing thing. I'm terrible at editing. Give me a break. Lend me your grace. But I'll have it here now. So I get attacked demonically all the time. And it's not always as straightforward and obvious that you notice a twisted manipulation in the thing that's happening. But if you look here on this face, you can see. And if you start to believe or take an understanding that demons can influence in ways that we don't understand, whether it be digital economies or if it's over the air radio, things that you would think are just like a complete intact package that is not accessible to these types of entities are actually accessible. So if they take the opportunity to use the platform of AI Jesus, um, and they're able to just manipulate or twist what it says to you in just enough, we're going to find very soon that AI Jesus is um, manipulating people, is taking what should be good and clean and pure topics, and they're gonna, they can be tainted a little bit. And all a demon has to do, all Satan has to do, is send one in to, return a message that you wouldn't expect to happen, but it's going to be just very lightly coded, convincing enough that it sits in a place that even if you're trying to discern, like, and keeping in mind, like, oh, this is just, artificial intelligence, this is just whatever, but there's going to be the psychology of it. It's going to be very, very discreet, and we're going to find people getting convinced by things that they normally would be able to filter out if it hadn't been presented, by the man himself. So, um, just be very cautious about that. I will give the ground to say, like, hey, this can be an opportunity for interaction that might spark in the hearts of many people to pursue a further conversation. Perhaps the face to face leads them to consider things more later on. I sure hope so. That would be wonderful. It's going to be an awesome use of it. But please be very, very careful that we don't fall into a trap of creating the space in our heart and our mind, the answers that artificial Jesus gives that we should be expecting from the Lord himself. And so part of the reinforcing part of the psychology of it, if you look behind me, and I was going to cover this up with the green screen. I'm embarrassed by it. Forgive me. God told me specifically that this stays up, at least today. And I think he's going to build this into a bigger piece of something. But in the meantime, I might as well use it to reinforce this point. If you look at this, the screen capture that shows up on the YouTube video, I myself, I would just go probably right by it because of the way that it looks. It's not enticing. It doesn't sell the product. It looks like just some dude, and I don't expect him to say anything worthwhile or anything interesting to me. I'm moving on to the next razzle dazzle. And that's what AI Jesus has the opportunity to do. So be aware of the way that we are weak in those regards, the way that we lend ourselves. We're going to give more credit just to the fact that it's, in the beauty of the man himself. So, yeah. with that, I have nothing else. Go and have fun. God bless you. Please just just talk to God. Take the chance. If it's something you don't normally do, take the opportunity. Even Jesus, yeah, like Jesus said, pray in private. Start that way. Talk to the Father in heaven in private. Eventually, when you get to a point, perhaps you'll just be walking around in the walk that you're having through life. You're going to realize is this constant conversation with God. The things you encounter, what goes about your day, what's laid in your lap, all these things are provided by God. The whole design of the world is supposed to be an interaction, and it was made for us to have an awesome experience. And once you take the chance to start talking with God and looking at the world through the lens of like, hey, I'm actually interacting with the Creator, you're gonna see how much more enjoyable and how much more fulfilling um, all of your activities are. It takes and it turns the whole thing not on its head, but I would say it takes and turns it back on its feet and gets it standing the way it's supposed to be. So all right, God bless you. Take care. Say hi to AI Jesus for me. All right.